he has had no real professional opponents other than Tommy Fury that were legitimate world-class boxers.
Yeah.
The problem is he was like a famous kid, and then no one took him seriously.
Yeah.
You just will never be a good fighter. So I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start. But as we saw,
Me like sparring.
Yeah.
When I watched it, which, you know, look, I paid for it. They got me. I thought it was going to be a real fight.
You know, but me, I'm gonna speak my mind. I'm gonna keep it 100, man. Jake Paul is fugazi. He's fake.
That's how you feel.
Truly feel. I'll bust him up and his trainer in the same night. 2 for 1.
Joe Rogan reacts in shock as
Luke Thomas became one of the strongest critics of the praise Jake Paul received after the fight. He argued that much of the excitement surrounding the bout was exaggerated, suggesting that the narrative overstated Paul's performance while downplaying Joshua's clear strategic dominance. Thomas stressed the importance of analyzing fights with a grounded understanding of skill, experience, and risk rather than getting carried away by hype. When combined with Joshua's disciplined game plan, Duke McKenzie's technical breakdown, and Oswei's reminder of boxing's dangers, a clearer picture emerges of why the fight unfolded the way it did.
Yeah.
You know, like you would assume that wealth would take away your drive for
But
competition.
it hasn't. Yeah.
He's also nuts, right? Just
Yeah.
the fact that he's willing to fight the 2-time heavyweight champion, former Olympic gold medalist,
Yeah.
a guy who's gigantic in his pride,
Gigantic.
built like a Greek god.
Yeah.
And you're going to stay.
Joe Rogan says the fight felt more like a controlled sparring session than a brutal war. While there were moments of tension, it never seemed like either fighter was in serious danger. Rogan explains that boxing can become extremely dangerous very quickly, so the fact that both men walked away without major injuries is actually a positive outcome. He stresses that fighter safety matters more than hype, and he is glad neither man absorbed shots that could have caused long-term damage.
You've known him for a long time. I've known him for a long time.
Chael Sonnen then adds that the matchup makes no sense when viewed logically. He explains that a fighter with only 11 professional bouts should not be in the ring with an Olympic medalist and veteran heavyweight. According to Sonnen, the difference in skill, experience, and ring intelligence is simply too large. He also highlights the natural weight advantage Joshua has, making the matchup even more questionable. In real competitive boxing, Sonnen argues, commissions and trainers would never approve such a fight. To him, this raises serious doubts about whether the bout was meant to be a true competition or
For Jake, or if I think that Joshua's more experienced or better, I believe I believe boxing's real. If boxing is an actual sport, if it is an actual sweet science, then of course a guy that's done it 11 times cannot compete with the Olympic champion. Of course. This is before you get size in there, before you get professional world titles in there. A guy that's done this 11 times cannot go into the Olympic Games and medal. If boxing, in fact, should be believed. I was with Portnoy. I liked it. I liked how he said that. So, you know, that's how I feel too. Because I'm also cheering for Jake Paul. But I get it. I know we're not going to win tonight. But that's a compliment to boxing. And it is very hard for people to digest that Anthony Joshua can't cut him off. He can't find him. He can't do anything with that reach. He can't go out there and rush him. He can't throw this kid in a corner and beat him up. That is disappointing to me. That is baffling to me. As an MMA guy, I will just share with you, that would not be a problem at all. At all. If a guy's running away from me, it would be absolutely no problem. And you can put the boundaries at the city line. You can put it at the state line. I will track him down, I will put him somewhere, and I will beat the dog out of him. So in a ring, I get where that is really disappointing. I get it, but it doesn't change the fact that that's what happened. And then Joshua, by the way, has the right to turn to some other things. Where I'm saying he got to cut him off, grab him, throw him in the corner, go beat him up. Well, I'm saying that Joshua has the right to go, I could feel some stuff. I knew it was going to come my way, right? For Joshua to say, well, I had the experience, and yeah, he was moving, and yeah, I could have cut him off a little different. But I didn't mind the way this was going. I didn't mind that he was running. I knew he would slow down. I knew he would come to me eventually. Like, for that to be Joshua's mindset.
Joe Rogan acknowledges that Jake Paul has always wanted to prove himself as a legitimate fighter. He notes that Jake performs best when facing real challenges, not scripted or fixed situations. However, stepping into the ring with Anthony Joshua is a completely different level of challenge. Rogan explains that Jake has never faced someone with Joshua's size, power, and experience before. Because of that, it's impossible to know how Jake would handle a full, intense fight against a true heavyweight elite. While Jake has shown speed and technical ability, Rogan believes his stamina and durability against top-tier heavyweights remain unanswered questions, leaving fans intrigued but uncertain.
When we expect Jake Paul to be fighting like higher level competition, it's not because he has under 10 fights, it's because he talks a lot of shit.
Yeah, but that's also why we're talking about him.
And that's exactly true, but I think on both sides of the equation, we've got to like admit that a young fighter under 5 fights isn't fighting great competition. So
True.
if you're calling Jake Paul a legitimate boxer, and then you're expecting him to do what legitimate boxers do, I'm not sure he's not doing that, and probably more.
That's what I'm saying about the knockout of Tyron Woodley, because it was just a regular boxer who's just coming up. And what is he at?
Tim Bradley strongly criticizes Jake Paul, calling him fake and claiming his fights lack real competition. He argues that many of Paul's bouts appear orchestrated, with opponents seemingly following a script instead of fighting naturally. Bradley believes these staged performances have helped Jake build a record that does not truly reflect his skill level. He warns fans not to confuse entertainment with authentic boxing.
But I can't knock you I can't knock your hustle when you've built something outside of boxing and you say, hey, yo, I'm coming over here to the sport now and I'm gonna pick and choose who I fight. Y'all come follow me. If they follow him, man, I just understand what it is. I know what I'm looking at. You're not gonna fool me over here. Save that stuff for them other people, because I'm not gonna believe that I'm the face of, no, you're not the face of boxing. I'm not giving you that, because that's for a lifer.
But that's what he believes.
That's cool, I can't knock him for that. People believe a lot of things for a lot of different reasons. I'm just saying, you can do all the rah-rah stuff, that's your business. But I just know what I'm looking at, right? But on the monetary side and it being an event, the truth is that when he does fight, it does bring attention around the sport. People debate, they argue, people want to see the fight. Is it legit? Is it him and Mike Tyson? No, it's an event.
Stating that while the events may be fun to watch, they do not represent real risk or true competition. According to Bradley, this approach damages the integrity of boxing and sends the wrong message to young fighters who dream of earning success the right way. Daniel Cormier offers a more balanced view, praising Jake Paul for his courage in stepping into the ring with Anthony Joshua. While joking that many people would fight for a massive payday, Cormier still acknowledges the bravery it takes to face an elite heavyweight after previously competing against smaller opponents. He highlights Jake's athleticism, movement, and strategy, noting how Paul used footwork and positioning to avoid taking devastating shots. Cormier explains that constant movement drains energy quickly, yet Jake managed to survive against a powerful and experienced opponent. Drawing comparisons to wrestling, he emphasizes the mental and physical resilience required to keep responding under pressure. Cormier concludes that despite—
What were your thoughts on that? I thought Jake Paul was a brave guy. Then I found out he made $100 million. I was thinking, well, anybody would fight for $100 million, but bro, he fought. I literally ran into Logan Paul in New York City, and I said to him, it was weird too, because I was going into a studio to interview Kamaru Usman for one of my shows, and Logan Paul was at the coffee shop. He was like, JC, I was like, what's up, Logan? Because he does a tremendous job at WWE. Yeah, Logan Paul does.
I don't watch WWE, but I know that.
Dude, he might literally be the best professional wrestler in the world.
Really?
He's such an athlete, bro. He's unbelievable. But I'm just stroking him right now. I swear to God, bro, it's unbelievable how good the kid is. Okay. From the moment he started doing it, he was really good.
He can cut a promo, huh? Like, he got what kids say.
Promo. He's got a promo, but he's also good in the ring. Okay. He's really athletic. I said to him, I go, what type of safeguards do you have in place to make sure he doesn't get his head knocked off against Anthony Joshua? He's gonna fight Gervonta Davis, who weighed in at 137 2 fights ago. So now you're gonna go fight Anthony Joshua, who weighs all of 250? He said, all right. He said, he's gonna just fight him. I go, man, he's very bold. And then what happened was he ran a lot.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Everybody goes, even Eddie Hearn goes, he did better than Francis. I'm like, well, Francis didn't move around much. Francis thought he could actually fight him because of what he did to Tyson Fury, right? Couldn't. Tyson Fury might have overlooked him a little bit, And I think that's what happened. Like, he got caught with the right hand drop. Anthony Joshua was like, I'm not taking any chances with this guy. So he fought him and he took him serious. But Francis didn't move. Jake did a good job of moving around for a long time. But all that moving costs energy.
Right? I mean, I used to spar with Robert Guerrero here in Yola.
Yep.
And I would go in and spar with him. I'd tell people that I would spar with him for his first 4 rounds. He would do 12 rounds.
Yep.
He would use me as his warm-up rounds.
Yep.
And I was in fight shape. I wouldn't go and spar unless I was ready to fight. Like, I was 2 or 3 weeks out from my...
Yeah.
I was ready to fight. And by the 4th round, I was fucking exhausted. And he would just make me miss. You know, if you miss more, it's light work. It makes you more tired.
Especially when you're throwing big punches like Jake was throwing.
Yeah.
And then wrestling. He's like shooting double A's and shit. Like,
oh, you look like Dylan Davis.
Oh, we're kids, bro. All that wrestling was crazy, dog. I was like, bro, have you ever in my life seen that much wrestling in a boxing match?
It was Dylan Davis, Logan Paul all over again.
Every time he would fall, you got to get up.
Yeah.
Every time you shoot, you got to get up.
It makes you more tense. It should be more iron off you. It's a worse shot.
I mean, and Anthony Joshua's short.
Eddie Hearn spoke calmly about the recent clash between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul, offering insight into how the fight was planned and executed. He explained that the strategy was always simple: stay patient, control the tempo, and slowly break Paul down before moving in for a decisive finish. According to Hearn, this approach allowed Joshua to stay in control while avoiding unnecessary risks. He noted that everything unfolded exactly as intended, highlighting Joshua's discipline and the value of a well-measured game plan over reckless aggression. This controlled execution, Hearn suggested, kept the fight safe while still delivering the intensity and excitement fans were hoping to see.
He said before the fight, I'm going to break him down and then I'm going to knock him out. And that's exactly what he did. I thought it'd be all over within 3 rounds. But, you know, when I got in the ring after, because I was shouting, just, you know, anywhere, I got in, he went, what are you rushing me for? And I was like, oh, sorry. So, but like, obviously he knows what he's doing, and actually now quite pleased that we got the rounds, to be honest.
Yeah, I said that. Really random, I was on Twitter and I saw Jake Paul's mom said she wants to get in the ring and punch you. She said she doesn't like the smug look on your face. She is promoting her book, so I'm not sure if she wants, you know. But did you see that? What did you think of that?
I was very sad because I couldn't have been nicer and more respectful of Jake and what he's done. And I think Logan's amazing. I think he's an incredible athlete. And I shook Jake Paul's dad's hand in the ring, you know. And if I would have seen Mum, I would have said, all right. But I think over the years, we've obviously had our beef, and she probably don't like me anyway. And I am probably a little bit smug. I wasn't smug after the fight because I would have been more smug if it was all over in a round. Yeah. So, no, I give Jake respect, and sorry Jake's mum doesn't like me, but if she can send me a free...
Duke McKenzie offered a more technical breakdown, drawing from his years of experience in the sport. He made it clear that his analysis was based on boxing fundamentals rather than personal opinion. McKenzie argued that the outcome of the fight spoke for itself, leaving little need for excessive commentary. He pointed to Joshua's composure and tactical control throughout the bout, explaining that the result clearly reflected the gap in experience and skill between the two fighters. In his view, the fight was a textbook example of a seasoned professional using discipline, timing, and strategy to dominate a less experienced opponent.
You know, like when you've got a fly on the windscreen and you're trying to swat it, and you're trying to swat it and you miss and you keep tapping, and then eventually, bang, you get it. That's exactly what that fight was. Jake Paul didn't get in there to win last night, he got in there to survive. And he didn't do a better job of surviving. He sold the fight brilliantly. That's what he is, he's a salesman. And he's a YouTuber, influencer, call him whatever you want. So from that perspective, he did his job, but he never got in there to win. He just got in there to got beat up. I'm glad Anthony Joshua done a number on him. This is why boxers are boxers, YouTubers, whatever they want to call themselves, influencers, you know, they should stay in their lane and fight people that they're supposed to fight on their level. This guy was never on Anthony Joshua's level, and Joshua did what he needed to do, did what he had to do for the sake of boxing, and blow this guy out, and just knock him out.
What about the fact that Jake was able to land on him clean a couple of times? What did you make of that?
But listen, you can't get into the water without getting hit. Fortunately for Joshua, that guy can't break an egg. So he was never in any danger. You know, he's always going to get hit back. I mean, you know, it was 6 rounds. Anthony Joshua was always going to take at least 1 or 2 shots over that 6-round period, but it was nothing to hurt him, it was nothing to bother him. And like I say, this is all about getting AJ's confidence back.
Okay.
If Jake Paul fights, if he fights KSI or KFC or whatever his name is, then those two are evenly matched, aren't they? They're evenly matched, and then they could fight, you know, and then because they're evenly matched, they're both YouTubers.
Lawrence Oswey approached the fight from a safety-focused perspective, emphasizing the constant danger that exists in boxing. He reminded viewers that one small mistake inside the ring can completely change the outcome, regardless of reputation, preparation, or hype. His analysis centered on the unpredictable nature of the sport, explaining that even a brief lapse in focus can lead to serious consequences. Oswey's comments served as a reminder that boxing is far more than entertainment. It is a high-risk contest where careful planning, awareness, and respect for the sport's dangers are absolutely essential. The public and media reaction to the fight only further fueled this discussion.
Jake for surviving, but he wasn't trying to win. Every once in a while in between running, he would throw a wish, hope it would land and do some damage. He was just hoping that Santa would come early and give him a present, a gift from the god. There's a reason in the jungle that a gazelle sometimes outruns a cheetah, the fastest animal, because fear makes you survive. But unfortunately this baby gazelle ran out of steam. For AJ, it was like a light sparring session. You could see he didn't fear anything coming back. After the fight, he looked like he'd been for a light jog. AJ knew the constant pressure was breaking him down, because trust me, when you've got a guy who can punch stalking you, it's tiring, because you can't switch off. One mistake and you could end up asleep. AJ's a massive puncher. Even the punches that weren't landing clean were doing damage. Any heavyweight landing in 10-ounce gloves isn't fun. Again, credit to Jake. He got dropped, but he kept getting back up. That big head is durable. Did Jake do what he said he was going to do? No. He's a businessman. He sells the dream. At no stage did he really try to win. It was a bank robbery in broad daylight. On paper, he shouldn't have been there. He got in and kind of gave it a go. He risked his life for the fans' entertainment. Was it brave or stupidity? Well, regardless, I still think it's been great for boxing, bringing new eyes to the sport. Just look what he's done for female boxing. The undercard was female heavy, giving them opportunity, giving them a platform. Personally, I think it's great. For Jake Paul, the fight was a win-win. Once he's healed up, he can come again. But next time, fight someone at your level, light heavyweight or cruiserweight. And he did show heart, and I did see some improvement. Despite the fact he was mainly running, he did show good movement and decent defense. People saying it's embarrassing for AJ. No, it's not. He just got his best and easiest payday. He can laugh his way to the bank. Nobody can honestly say if they were AJ, given the opportunity, they wouldn't take it. Come on, AJ, I'm big.
Luke Thomas became one of the strongest critics of the praise Jake Paul received after the fight. He argued that much of the excitement surrounding the bout was exaggerated, suggesting that the narrative overstated Paul's performance while downplaying Joshua's clear strategic dominance. Thomas stressed the importance of analyzing fights with a grounded understanding of skill, experience, and risk rather than getting carried away by hype. When combined with Joshua's disciplined game plan, Duke McKenzie's technical breakdown, and Oswey's reminder of boxing's dangers, a clearer picture emerges of why the fight unfolded the way it did.
Surviving kind of feeds into the story of him being perhaps a little bit better than we sometimes think, although I don't really co-sign on that. Let me make the point. The first point is, I think people are overreacting a little bit. People were suggesting when I got on social media that this was like the biggest farce they'd ever seen in their life, and that this was, how could he fight like this, and this was a disaster, and you know, Joshua should have got him out there earlier. There is probably some evidence to suggest that I don't think Joshua was carrying him in the sense of, hey, they coordinated this ahead of time. But was Joshua really stepping on the gas? No, I don't think he was really stepping on the gas. There were times I think he clearly pulled his punches, partly because Jake was squirmy and rotating on the outside. Also in part because I think, as I indicated on Friday, he's watching this guy with pretty bad footwork. He was literally...
For more hard-hitting boxing content, hit like, subscribe to Boxing Corner, and let us know your opinion in the comments.